Well, it was just a magnificent sight here in Hobart this morning. We had 4 Super Maxis coming up the River Derwent in pretty close proximity. But as you mentioned, it was Wild Oats XI that crossed the finish line first with a time of 1 day, 19 hours, 7 minutes and 21 seconds. And that made it a 9th line honours victory for Wild Oats XI. And the celebrations as the yacht docked here this morning were huge. It is the first victory since the Oatley family, which owns the yacht, lost its patriarch Bob Oatley back in 2016, and it was his grandson today that steered the yacht across the finish line. So a special moment for him. Also a special moment for the skipper, Mark Richards. He kept saying that it is Redemption Day, and that of course is in relation to what happened last year. Wild Oats XI was first across the finish line last year as well, but was stripped of line honours due to an illegal tack at the start of the race. So it had line honours handed to Comanche and also the race record. So Mark Richards saying that it was certainly a sweet victory today and one of the toughest and best Sydney to Hobarts he's raced in so far.
Now, speaking of protests, it seems as though there may be one brewing down there this morning.
Yes, there's been a bit of controversy after Blackjack, who came in second, crossed the finish line. We spoke to the skipper, Peter Harburg, and he expressed some disappointment in Wild Oats XI and its crew. He said that Wild Oats had turned off its automatic identification system for part of the race. It's similar to a tracker, and he said that his crew was at a significant disadvantage because it couldn't see Wild Oats at all times, whereas Wild Oats could see Blackjack. So he said that he wanted the race committee to investigate this, but that he wouldn't lodge an official protest. Now, we've spoken to the race committee and they've said that they're not going to investigate, so it's unclear if a protest will be lodged. It's looking unlikely, but I spoke to the Wild Oats skipper, Mark Richards, a short time ago, and he maintains that his crew did nothing wrong.
I think you'll find that the tracker was on the whole race, so I think millions of people were watching the tracker, and I'm pretty sure Wild Oats was on the tracker. So really, AIS, whatever they're talking about, it's not a mandatory thing regardless. We're within sight of each other for the whole race. That's how close we are for the whole race. So disadvantage, whatever you like, well, let's get back to basics and sail against the other boat in the fleet, and we're right next to each other for the whole race. So really no comment, and yeah, it's a bit disappointing, but you know, life goes on.
Anna, do we have a sense of what would need to happen for a protest to be lodged?
Well, Dan, we've heard that the race committee would need someone to lodge a protest. It said that it would take a protest from Blackjack or one of the other crews, but that it would not be lodging one, and it said at this stage that it's not going to investigate, so it appears unlikely. We've also spoken to the Australian Maritime Safety Authority about those rules with the AIS, and it's suggested that that system doesn't need to be on at all times. So at this stage, it would appear that a protest is unlikely, and as Mark Richards said, he maintains he's done nothing wrong. He referred to it as a storm in a teacup.
Yeah, and we'll be watching that one closely. Now, which yacht is looking good for handicap honours?
Well, there's still plenty of racing to go here in Hobart, and we won't actually find out the handicap honours for a few days. But at the moment, a Tasmanian yacht, Alive, is right up there. So that would be a great achievement for a Tasmanian yacht. Also, Wild Oats X is right up there, and it's looking like it'll be the next yacht here to dock in Hobart. That is, of course, the all-female crew. So it'll be great to see them dock here soon. They're not expected for a few hours yet. The last time I checked, they were rounding Tasman Island. So it looks like it might be a few hours before we see some more yachts into the River Derwent, but certainly plenty of racing still to go here in Hobart, Dan.
Yeah, indeed, and we've seen some of those incredible shots this morning. Give us a sense of the crowds that were there and also the weather we can expect throughout today and perhaps over the coming weekend.
Well, hundreds of people lined the waterfront. It was about 8 o'clock this morning when Wild Oats XI was making its way over the finish line, and hundreds of people came out. They lined all the wharf around me, and there was a huge round of applause as Wild Oats crossed the finish line, and of course the cannon was fired, and the scenes of celebration here as Wild Oats tied up were great. Of course, the skipper Mark Richards was spraying his crew with champagne, and he even did a shoey, and then of course he was tossed into the River Derwent as per tradition. So lots of colour and movement for all the spectators who came out to watch. Of course the family was here waiting. They jumped on board the yacht, and there was lots of hugging. It was of course a very proud moment for the Oatley family, as I mentioned, in relation to what happened last year, but also the first line honours victory since the family lost their patriarch Bob Oatley.
Yeah, certainly lots of excitement. Not sure about that shoey there. Anna Fromberg, many thanks.
Thank you.